What's up, everybody? My name is Colton Lee, and welcome to One More for Safety. Today, my guest is James Kellegher. James is the lead singer of a band called Eliza And The Bear from the UK. James and I worked together years ago when Eliza made their debut album in Nashville with Jakir, and since then we've become good friends, and I love talking to James. We had such a good time doing this, just catching up and seeing what Eliza's up to and see how he's handling the pandemic and lockdown in London. So, hope you enjoy. Shit, man. It's good to see you. I haven't seen you. Well, I guess I saw you. Was it in 2020? Or is that in
2019.
2019?
No, wait. End of 2019, yeah. So when was that? Like September 2019?
I have no. 2020 was like just lit on fire for me, so I have no idea. But
it feels like last year feels like the fastest and the slowest year we've ever had.
Yeah.
Like I can't, like, January feels like 2,000 years ago, but then July seems like last week.
Right. And December, this past December, felt like it was a full year.
Yeah,
it was
big time.
The weirdest thing ever, man. But yeah, shit. I can't believe that was 2019. That's weird.
Crazy. I'm so glad I got to do that before all this lockdown happened, because if I hadn't been out on tour for that long beforehand, I think I would have shot myself. I think I would have gone crazy.
Yeah, you just going into your third lockdown, right?
Yeah, third lockdown. But there was apparently supposed to be a presser today. Apparently they're going to make it a bit stricter, but
I was going to say hopefully good news, but
I feel like they need to make it a bit stricter because we're a bit too right. It's lockdown, but then our prime minister will go, but if you have to leave the house, you can. That's fine. If you can't, try and stay at home. If it's all a bit like, ooh, just
don't do
lock
it, but then
down.
they walk it back. Yeah.
Yeah. Just lock it down for 2 weeks, and then we'll be fine.
Yeah. Gosh. Yeah. It's so tough to figure out. Arizona has been just fucking. As you'd expect, the Wild West. It's just it's just fucking chaos. I think we were number one in the world.
Oh fuck!
Last week, I think. And
we'll take that crown. We'll take that crown.
Let's hope. Yeah, I mean, how have you been? How have you been dealing with the lockdowns? I know for me, creatively, it's just completely fucked any creative energy.
Yeah, I felt really guilty at the first lockdown that I had no creativity. I had this feeling that you've got all this time now. You should be at your creative peak, but I had nothing. I was trying to write stuff, and it was just this is trash. This is sucks. I kind of the first lockdown we were saved by our landlords. Basically, they gave us half rent. Because I lost all my work for the year.
Right.
Because me and Ben had tours, the band had tours. Ben and I were going out on tour a load. So in March, that all just got cancelled, and I was kind of I don't know where I'm going to earn money from now. I don't have another job.
Yeah.
So our landlord gave us half rent for 3 months. So
that's
Kelly, my partner, was still paying, but she was still working. So it's kind of nothing really changed for her.
Right.
And then I just got my feet on the ground with photography, really.
Oh, that's great.
And I think I'm going to look back on this year and be last year and kind of be grateful for it, I think, because I had the kick up the arse to go out and do something else, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, I look back at 2020 fucking sucked in a lot of ways, but shit, I moved across the country. I opened a studio and did the build out and, basically turned my life upside down all in the span of, we moved in May. So it was really, it happened really quick. But if I look back on it, I'm like, man, yeah, it sucked. Work dried up big time for a lot of stuff. I had, in a lot of ways I was expecting to have this nice big breakout year. There was some talks with bands that had budgets and I was like, ooh, and then it's
cut it all off.
But if I look back on it, it's like, man, I wouldn't have been able to afford a place like this in Nashville. I would have never been able to like sort of step out on my own and sort of separate from Jakir and all the stuff that we were doing there. And it was the most natural time things could have happened, like even when we sort of had the conversation, when I told him of like, hey man, I'm going to move. And he was like, man, I'm disappointed because I'm going to miss you. But the timing's right. Like, we all need to sort of do our own things.
I think that's like, I think a lot of people have taken stock this year or last year, taken stock and just kind of tweaked and switched up and just, I think it's hopefully a number of people have improved their lives. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like my life is going to be better going forward because now I've got a second arm of my career to kind of rest on.
We've all been sort of forced to like streamline and like sort of get rid of shit that we like, oh yeah, I didn't really need that. And it was just sort of like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And it's like the circumstances in which we had to, come to those realizations wasn't the greatest. And
but sometimes you need a gun to your head to realize you're alive.
Yeah, right, exactly. So, and I think for the music business, I mean, we've all been been shot in the dick over this, but it's sort of like it's forcing us to come up with new ways to, stay busy or new ways to work together. Like, I never would have thought to just like call my friends up on Zoom and like talk for a while, like
it's like
we text and shit, but I'm like, man, I've got all these interesting friends that do cool shit that I love to talk to and don't talk to as much. So why don't I just do it and put it up?
Perfect way.
Yeah.
It's the perfect way. Like, I think it, like in a weird way, it's connecting people more.
Yeah.
Because you've got Zoom, you can be like, oh, let's pick up the phone and see each other face to face.
Yeah. In some ways it definitely is. And then, if you're here and you're in the U.S., it's been a little bit of a dividing year, but we'll get through all that.
There's that Capitol building.
Yeah, the coup.
Oh, the coup. Jesus, that was fun to watch. That was a nice like brief distraction from the shit that we've got going on here. That was like, oh, someone else is fucking up.
Yeah, you guys are like, oh, what's going on over there?
Ooh, let's point fingers. That was crazy.
I mean, I had gotten to the point since like the election that like I just like tuned out of everything. Like, I just like I can't take it anymore. And then I was getting all these texts from people that were like, "Are you seeing what's going on in the Capitol building?" And I'm like, unless it got hit by an asteroid, I don't care.
I don't care.
I don't want to know. And then of course I looked. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sakes. And then this guy,
we call him. I don't know if you have him over in America. Have you heard of Jamiroquai?
Yeah, Jamiroquai.
Yeah. We call him Jamiroquai.
That fuckwit's from Arizona, so it's like.
Oh, is he? Is he?
Yeah, he's a well-known like QAnon guy that like sort of I guess marches around town with some stupid fucking sign. I don't know.
So what have you seen him around town before?
I haven't, but as soon as I was like,
you're gonna now.
Well, he's gonna get arrested, but. Yeah, I mean, sort of going back to the sort of the lockdown and the creativity thing. I mean, like, it's. I think you're right. Whether it's sort of like it's forcing everybody to figure out these new ways to sort of be creative and not just in their own like lane anymore. And it's I think ultimately it's just gonna be. We'll all be better for it if we don't kill each other first.
Yeah. If we don't kill each other. Yeah. I think the world is going to be a brighter place coming out of this for sure. Like I was talking to a friend the other day, and for like small businesses, they now no longer need to pay for like office space because you can have a small business set up and be like, listen, we want to hire some people, but it's going to be work from home. Mm-hmm. And I feel like in 2019, if you got a job interview and they offered you a job and it was a work from home job, you would have been a bit like, what? Yeah. Really? But now. It's the norm. So I think a lot more like smaller businesses are going to be able to thrive, I hope so. Lower the overheads. Yeah. Rent hopefully will be cheaper.
I don't know. Well. Everything here is still going up. I'm like, fuck. Yeah. But yeah, sort of, it's kind of switching gears, but sort of piggybacking off of like the creative aspects and stuff, getting into sort of the music side of things. I wanted to just sort of go back and think of what was sort of the catalyst for you. Can you pinpoint like a catalyst moment in your life of like when you're like, oh, I'm gonna do this now, like, oh, I'm gonna be a musician, or I want to be an artist, or was it kind of just momentum?
Music was always there.
Yeah.
Music was always there. I don't think it's less of like when I decided I wanted to become a musician, and more when I found out that it might be viable, like it might be a possibility to be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I started playing drums as a kid. I was obsessed with playing the drums. I'd bang on pots and pans and tapping on every surface in the house until my parents bought me a drum kit at like 10.
Mm-hmm.
Then I played that for a number of years. And then when I was in school doing my exams, I was doing music. They kind of suggested doing drums on the side, but playing a more kind of melodic instrument. So I was like, well, let's try guitar.
Yeah.
Then they kind of put me in a band for a school project. And then it's really weird. That single band kind of from my last year of school,
yeah,
kind of evolved in so many ways into Eliza and the Bear. So it's
really
kind of it's. So it was a band with me, a friend called Beela, and a guy called Bryn.
Mm-hmm.
Bryn was playing drums, Beela was playing bass, I was playing guitar. Bryn left, another guy joined. Beela left, another guy joined. Basically, people were leaving and coming back in, and now it's Eliza and the Bear. That's kind of how
you're just the one constant.
Still, I'm just kind of plowing straight through. But I think I always knew music was the kind of thing I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But I was saying, in fact, I was saying it the other day. Back then, it was like if you wanted music to be your job, it was in a band, and that was it. There was no other like the blinkers were on. Like you'd say, I want to do music for a living, and your teacher would say, bands rarely ever make money. No one said, oh, you can make music for film, or you can produce, or you can engineer. Like there's so many. So at that point in time, it was like, cool, I'll just try and be in bands and just was in bands constantly. Never went to university, just toured.
Yeah.
And then it kind of one day when we all gave up, it worked. It's so annoying. We tried so hard for like 6 years. Touring really hard, away all the time, hemorrhaging money through like petrol, not getting paid any gig money. And then we were like, right, we're too old for this shit, man. Like we can't do this. Let's just write music. We like writing music.
Yeah.
So we wrote a song, stuck it on Facebook, and then a week later got an email from a major label, and it was like, okay, let's write some more songs then. And then it went from there. Yeah. So that was I'm 31. So that was 10 years ago.
Wow. And obviously, I mean, it went well. I mean, we met in Nashville with you making your guys' sort of
our debut? Yeah,
your debut record with Jakir King at fucking Blackbird Studios, which is like, in many ways, like the Vatican for recording. Like everybody's like, it's the holy land of like, we want to go there.
Yeah, like that is how it came about for us. Our label just said like, any ideas of where you were on record, and we were just like,
that place. Yeah.
Wouldn't accept anything else.
Can you remember like day one of like real recording? Not like, I know we did pre-production and all that shit at SIR and stuff, but can you remember like when you walk into the hallway and you go through the chamber of like Studio D, like what was that first day like?
It was like being thrown in the deep end. Is the way I can describe it.
With ankle weights on.
Yeah. I felt like a complete imposter. I was like, I'm going to get caught out here. Someone's going to go, hold on a minute. These boys, they shouldn't be here.
Turn around.
But I'd obviously seen the studio in documentaries and like the Kings of Leon stuff. And so being in the room and be it like in the reverb chamber halfway, like being in those rooms was a bit like, damn, like this is real. And then who was playing next door? Someone was recording next door early doors. It was like an old blues artist.
Was it Buddy Guy?
I was going to say Buddy Guy. Yeah, Buddy Guy was next door. And I think it was you that was like, we could hear someone playing, and you were like, oh, it's Buddy Guy. And I was just like, oh, it's just Buddy Guy. Buddy Guy next door. Never mind.
Is that when, did we go into the machine, like the hallway, and just like listen on the other side of the door?
Yeah.
I've had a lot of those like creepy moments of like on the other side of a door, of
just like listening.
Oh,
that was definitely a moment for me where it was like, oh, like we're playing with the big boys now, sort of thing.
It's like, no
Let's
fucking
not
around.
fuck this up. Like, yeah. Which we nearly did.
I remember a conversation or two where things got heated, but I loved making that. That was so much fun.
So much fun.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Buddy Guy has one of my favorite, like all-time favorite, what the fuck happened there?
Oh.
Email just decided it was going to take over.
Read me.
Buddy Guy has one of my like all-time fucking favorite like sayings. I guess the bass player for one of the gigs showed up with a 5-string, and he's like, "You're 1 string away from getting fired." It's just like
it's just like rein it in.
Yeah. It's just we've already got, I'm the guy. So
don't worry about that high end, boy.
Yeah. So going back to Nashville, I know that that felt like, I mean, I think for a lot of people, or for me at that time too, in my like sort of career with Jakir, that also felt like you're being thrown in the deep end. So, you know,
I think that's the best way to learn. Like everything I've learned the most has been just do it, just get in there and do it.
Yeah, it's and since then you guys went on to you made another record in was 2018, which was Group Therapy.
Group Therapy, yeah.
So what's next for Eliza? Are you guys working on stuff now?
So we basically were gearing up to release about 2 weeks before lockdown.
Oh fuck me!
And we've got like a music video filmed. We've got the single, everything.
Yeah.
And we were gonna do like a whole shut down the Instagram, like delete all the photos, and then kind of tease a restart.
Yeah.
Thank the Lord we didn't do that, because it would have been horrendous.
Oh. Okay.
So we decided to pull everything back, because we could have released last year, but with no shows and nothing going on around it, it would have been a bit wasted. So we took stock. We've got the single, we've got a second single, and we're going to release an EP, not an album,
right? Just
because we're self-funding. So we just kind of spent the year writing another 2 tracks just to make sure it was like, we've got the time to write it. I mean, the creativity wasn't amazing, but we got there in the end, and it's going to sound wicked, and hopefully we can just kind of kick off again. And
yeah, I mean, the appetite's going to be so huge once
the
reins are, let off. I feel like
people are going to go crazy.
Yeah, and it's not just like, I feel like everything's just being held back, and there's so much appetite, and there's so much angst, and the artists that hold on through this and don't just say fuck it, I'm gonna I guess I'll be an accountant like my parents wanted, like the people that don't do that, like, are gonna have the best shit to say, like,
100%.
This is fucking trying times, like, all around.
I'll be honest, we were actually like the actual original plan was the single that we were going to release was going to be our last song, like was going to be like a
farewell,
thank you very much kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then we wrote it and pitched it out to like a bunch of people just to kind of see if we can get any backing on it.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, this is the best song you've ever written. Like, you can't stop. So that's the key to writing good songs is giving up.
Yeah. I think we found the common thred for you guys. It's just fucking give up.
Completely give up.
I've had so many times for that too, where it's just like, music's fucking tough, especially, being an engineer. There's so many fucking engineers, and everybody and their brother's got a fucking Logic setup or GarageBand, and we'll do it for free. And it's just been so many times where I'm just like, fuck it, I'll do something else, or like find another hobby that, like, I was making started making wallets of like all fucking things. And
I saw that. They were sick. They were so good.
All of a sudden I'm like, fuck, I can't keep up like with people or ordering them now. Like, what? I would just put them on like Instagram because I was bored, and then like now I'm like, fuck, I can't keep up with orders, and I'm like, now I'm hemorrhaging money out of that because I'm like up all night. Like, I gotta stop doing that. And then I was teaching boxing and all this. I'm like,
oh, nice.
When when those things are like, when I hit like, fuck it, I got to do something else, is then it's like, oh, this other opportunity fucking comes up. Of like, I was teaching boxing like this time last year, and I just said, like, I knew that Yumi at 6 was making another record, and I just said, fuck it, I'm gonna email Dan, I'm gonna text Dan, and I text the drummer and it's like, look, I know you guys are making a record, love to just mix a song, if like, you know, no pressure, free at first, if you like it, cool, if not, you know, whatever, we're back to square one, doesn't matter.
That's it. Yeah.
And then that happened, and they're like, great, we want you to mix, you know, like, I ended up mixing like, I think almost half the record or somewhere around there, and it's like those moments where you're just like, fuck it, you know, whatever, and then it's like, oh,
you've got to do it, you've just got to put your hat in the ring and be like, listen, I'm here, like, please, because otherwise they don't know. That was like when I started photography, it was like I had to just hustle and just text everyone about, listen, if you need photos or videos, let me know, we'll sort something out. It's like,
it's just funny like that. It's like golf, where you're just like, or like for me, where I'm like, every time I go golfing, I'm like, why the fuck do I do this? I'm terrible. It's just an excuse to day drink. And then every once in a while, you'll hit that shot and you're like, oh, yeah.
That's why I play.
That's why. All right. Yeah. But sort of switching gears here a little bit. Well, it's not switching gears so much. It's still in the vein of music and our, I guess, career wise. What's what would you say is like the most misunderstood or just commonly fundamentally wrong thing that people assume about what you do, or something you'd like people to know? Like, look, it's not all.
There's always the classic one that people think you're loaded. People think you're like
that.
like people like I haven't really spoken to anyone about it, but I'm gonna go out and assume that at some point some of my old school friends thought I was completely minted.
Really?
Because we're flying to Nashville making a record.
Oh, right.
We're doing all this kind of stuff, like we're on the radio, and it's like no. I'm in so much debt because I'm in a band. It's ridiculous. So that's number one. Number two, a lot of people assume touring is fun.
Yeah.
And it is. Touring is fun, but like mental health wise, it can screw you up so hard. I feel like my mental health and my bank balance have taken a big hit through being in a band.
Yeah. I would say the same for being an artist or a producer engineer. Yeah. Mental health and bank account are.
It's a big issue.
Yeah.
Coming, like, I think it's not necessarily that touring is like it sucks or it's always hard, but for me it's the routine you go through where it's like you sleep in a van for 5 hours, you arrive at a venue, you drag all your gear in, it's cold, you're tired, it's heavy, drag that in, sound check, right, sleep for another 3 hours, and then you play an hour's worth of show, your adrenaline's pumping.
Yeah.
You're in a single travel lodge bed by midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, you can't sleep. So then you end up, I don't know, smoking a joint or something like that just to help you get to sleep.
Yeah.
And then it's just a big spiral. Do you know what I mean? It just ends up bad for everyone.
For sure.
So yeah, I always at first I always felt guilty for not necessarily enjoying tour. I say that now, I'm gagging to get out on tour right now. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
But like being on tour, like, yes, sometimes I'm just like,
I can't wait to be fucking sick of this again.
Yeah. No, I think money's always the big misconception, I think, for across the board, that you're if you're on the radio, you're minted or like you're loaded.
Right. And people don't understand. It was like, with those record labels, they're shilling out dough, but they're charging you interest on it, and
they're taking it back.
Yeah, and it's like you might be making money, sure, but they're taking it first. And
like I thought I was rich for about a week and a half when we got our advance.
Yeah,
and then realised that wasn't like you're not getting a salary as well, mate. That's you for the next 2 years.
Yeah,
rein that in.
Yeah, maybe return that, Martin, and
still on the wall there.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's That's a good way. I never really heard it described as like tour guilt, but that
Mm.
that makes so much sense
I
because
think I think I felt a lot of guilt throughout the time because I hadn't reacted as how I thought I should have or would have. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
I, if someone came up to me 30 seconds before a gig and told me it was off, I'd probably be like, thank you,
cool.
sweet. Like,
Yeah.
let's go home. And I feel terrible for that. Obviously, when I'm on stage, it's the best
Yeah.
thing you can ever do in your entire life. But the nerves before it,
Yeah.
kind of block you remembering that joy, that euphoria.
Yeah. I totally I get that, especially now like hearing you verbalize it. I'm remembering, like even when I was in bands in like college and we did a tour of like having that moment of like do I want to really play this gig?
Yeah, can I be bothered?
Yeah. And then there were a couple that were like canceled on us, and I was like, oh, fuck yeah, thank God, let's go. Like, let's go to the next wherever. And it's like, yeah, I think that guilt comes from like you're a kid and you're like, at least for me, like come home from school, you fucking throw on like the Black Album or like fucking Metallica record and you're playing or whatever you're like into, and you're just like this fantasy of like, I want to do this. I want to play guitar or sing.
I want to be a rock star.
Yeah, I want to fucking be. And then you get there and you're like, oh yeah, this is fucking exhausting, and nobody like appreciates it. Like,
because it's like it is essentially like the dream job, but really like for a lot of people, but it's not that great. Like
no, and like you said, it is fun. Like. Make no mistake about it, like it is fun, and we love like even for the studio it's the same shit of like, yeah, it's fun, but it's grueling, like fucking 18-hour days some days, and like 6-7 days a week, like when
and quite mentally taxing as well. You've got to be really on it in the studio.
Yeah, because you can fuck some stuff up. And I mean, I remember, I don't know if you remember, but I remember very vividly an instance when I was working on your record where
what did you do?
I got chewed out in front of everybody because I didn't document a bass chain.
Oh yeah, I do. So I kind of remember that, but not really. I didn't really understand what was going on, and I was kind of like, I'm just gonna leave them to it.
Yeah.
Was it Jay just kind of going a bit apeshit?
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not gonna. I won't name names here, but the engineer on the session was particular in the way he wanted things documented, as in no pictures in the control room. Like he didn't want any of the gear like photographed, but he wanted like pedals and like like the guitar shit. Like let's document that. Document the settings on the amp, the placement of the mics, the pedals used, the bass or the guitar used. Like I had all that shit, and then I remember like being 2 days into that like process and being like, this feels weird. I should for sure take pictures of the gear in the control room.
Yeah, like it makes sense.
Yeah. So I did. I'm in there taking pictures, and it was me and Rachel. Like Rachel was in the back of the room and taking pictures, and the engineer walks in and he's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, fuck." I was like, "I'm just taking pictures. Just wanted to, just make sure I had my bases covered just in case." He's like, "Can you not do that?" I was like, "Sure. Okay." And he was like visibly pissed and like didn't talk to me the rest of the day. So I was like, okay, I fucked up.
Shit. And then the thing is, it's like if you're taking a photo on your phone, it doesn't matter to hit like just you don't have to give him those photos.
Right.
So like what's the fucking problem?
But then cut to 3 weeks later, oh hey, we need to cut this bass part. Like, Colton, will you pull up the settings? And I'm like, oh fuck. Uh-oh. And I just remember being like, I have panic, dude. My neck is like on fire. And I just
I hate that moment where you feel the heat.
Yeah, like and I was just like, I don't have that. I only have the the stuff out on the floor. And GK was, pissed, as he should be, because that's your job.
Your job.
Yeah. And it was like, why not? And I was like, I was asked not to. And then the engineer is like, no, you were not. And just threw me under the bus.
Under the bus.
Yeah, I was like, oh, for fuck's sakes. Yeah, that was a rough day, but
fuck. Well, I didn't realize the intensity of how big it was, because I think we were so aware of our what's the word? Not miscomings.
Shortcomings.
Shortcomings. That's what. Yeah, our shortcomings, that we were kind of trying to keep those kind of hidden.
You're so worried about, like, is my part good? Like, is this gonna be? Yeah. So it's like everyone's just fucking. The studio's a fucking pressure cooker for everybody. It's like
it really is, and the lid blew off a couple of times with us, and with like I remember being in the vocal booth. I can't remember what entirely happened, but it was between a couple of other members of the band, and I was just in the vocal booth, and Jakir was just down the talk back, just like, do you fucking want to make a record, or do you want to fly home and fuck this up? Like, I was like, shit.
Oh man, I gotta fucking give him props, man, because I've never seen anybody be able to sit a band down like that, like humble people, but also in a way that challenges them to rise to the occasion. Because I've seen it happen a couple times with, like, you guys were young at the time, like you're in your 20s, like
23, 24.
23. He's in his, I think, late 40s at that time. Like, he's an authoritative figure. Like, that makes sense. I've seen him do that to, like, people that are same age or older, and like, and it's that moment where you're like, ooh, this could go bad, but it never does, because he does it in a way that's like
he's riding that line of,
and he's always fucking right too.
Yeah. Like, everything he's saying is gospel. It's like you're telling us truth. We might not want to hear it right now, but it needs to be said, and he needs to say it. He's the captain of the ship, and he's got to keep it.
Yeah, and I've always just been like, fuck, I admire that, because
there was one time we were out at a bar, and one of the security guards was getting a bit pissy at one of us, and I remember he was like, I'm not taking this, and just stood up and went and fucking was shouting at this doorman, the security guard, being like, don't fucking discriminate me. I think someone was wearing a cap, someone was wearing a hat, and he came over and told someone to take it off, but was really like rude and aggressive about it. So then Jakir walked up and was like, don't talk to my fucking friends like that, buddy.
Was that when we were having pizza? Was that at Mafiosa's?
Oh, man, I cannot remember. It could have been pizza.
I think all I remember is beating Brandy at arm wrestling. So,
Brandy, if you're watching, you suck.
Oh man, I miss everybody.
He still does that regularly. Arm wrestles people in bars, like,
does he?
Regularly. Yeah. That's his thing. He doesn't tell anyone he lost to you, though. I think you're his only loss.
No, really? Oh man, I
haven't seen him lose. Apart from you.
Wow, that makes me feel good.
So there you go.
Oh man. Well, any new music you're listening to or particularly excited about coming out or just came out? I mean, apart from Eliza.
For like releases and stuff, I've completely gone off the radar of like what's coming out.
Yeah.
And like what's new. I've been listening to a lot of like film music, like scores and stuff like that, because that's my creativity in lockdown kind of ended leading me to write production music.
Oh, right.
So I've written a bunch of that. So I've just been listening to a lot of like soundtracks, and I love the Tenet soundtrack. That's really sick.
Ooh. Is that another Hans Zimmer?
That's Ludwig Göransson.
Okay.
Guy that did Black Panther and Community and all those kind of. They did the Childish Gambino album as well.
Oh shit! Okay.
Produced that, so it's sick. What was my Spotify saying? Do you know what? Actually, it's really bad. I tell you what I've been listening to.
Do it.
You've probably not got it. I don't know whether he's out in America. It's a guy called Band OK.
Band OK. No.
Yeah.
I don't know that one.
Essentially, he's part of a gang called OFB. Mm-hmm. So there was three of them: SJ, Band OK, and Double L's. SJ is now in prison for murder.
Oh.
So they basically rap about stabbing people and that kind of stuff. But it's real, like they actually are doing that shit. So for some reason, I got onto that.
Yeah.
Don't know why. It's quite good though. Quite enjoy it.
Nice.
Couple could say I'm far too white for it, but you know, it's 2021. We're all.
I'm here for it. I like it. Oh man, that's fun.
I'll send you some. You'll despise it.
Hey man, guilt. I'm a firm believer of there's no such thing as guilty pleasure with music.
Amen.
You know, there's something for everybody. Film, however, there's pleasures for me.
Have you seen Tenet?
I haven't yet.
I really liked it.
Yeah,
like a lot of people hate it.
Really? I was gonna say the way you said that makes me think that it was not well received.
So I watched it like 2 weeks ago. All my friends saw it at the cinema, and they all came out like garbage. Like, this is awful.
Really?
Doesn't make any sense with it. But I watched it, I think, because I had a bit of a longer lead up and a bit more time to read into it without getting spoilers.
Yeah,
I was set up better to enjoy it, if you know what I mean. Like,
yeah.
Because it doesn't hold your hand. It is like, here's an idea, let's go. Like, that's it. It just drags you along.
Oh, it is Chris Nolan, right?
Yeah, he loves doing that shit.
But
I think it's one of those films like a second watch is warranted because of the way the time works in it and stuff.
Yeah, he does that.
I'd give it a good 7.5 out of 10.
All right, I'll have to watch it, but without Kelly, because she'll make it like 5 minutes and then
I'm out.
or be asking me shit and then I'll miss it. I'm like,
it needs to be full focus. Yeah. Maybe even subtitles on.
Ooh, okay.
Just to catch every word.
The black background shit. You're like, oh man.
Yeah. There's a lot of the audio mix is a bit. I mean, when you watch it, let me know what you think about the audio mix. It's a bit
okay. Interesting.
The music is very loud.
Oh, okay. Yeah. They did that. There was what was the other Social Network? They did that too.
Oh yeah. That's a great film.
And the fucking score is like distractingly good. That was my biggest issue. Was I was more focused on the music because it was so fucking good.
Finch is my favorite director as well. So that film is just sick. It's so good.
It was so fucking good.
I'm gonna watch that. I might watch that later.
Yeah, man, I haven't.
I stayed up until 4 a.m. to watch the Browns game.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, so I watched the Titans game, and obviously we got absolutely spanked. And then I just decided to watch them all. So that was fun.
That's fun. Back in Baker Mayfield doing the damn thing, you know? We're going to move into some 5 rapid fire questions here.
Okay. I'm ready.
Just something quick. This is good because we were just sort of talking about this. Favorite bad 80s or 90s action movie?
Oh, I mean, Die Hard's amazing.
I watched Die Hard last night.
Right. This is the question.
Yeah.
Is Die Hard a Christmas film?
Yeah, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
It is.
Because I watched it on Christmas Eve.
Fuck yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Die Hard's amazing.
It is. It's the best parts of like the 80s, like manly, like just superhero, but normal dude shit.
Dude shit.
Yeah, like I smoke cigarettes.
I don't know whether it's
chest hair, and it's just fucking great.
yeah. Like a bit rough and ready. Well, let me Google if this film actually came out, because I won't quote it if I'm wrong, because I look like an idiot. It's 93. A bad action film, which is kind of good. There's an Arnie film called Last Action Hero from 93.
Oh yeah. I'm familiar.
Like, bad but real good.
So bad. Okay, so I loved that movie when it came out, like when I was a kid. And then I got older and realized that it's just like it's a shitty parody action film, like it's fucking great. And then I went to like revisit it like years ago and got way too high. And like I pulled the ripcord like 30 seconds in. Like
no.
Yeah. The part where he goes, "Are you a farmer? How about a couple of acres?" And he kicks that guy in the balls and he flies like 50 feet. Like I was like, I can't fucking do this. I'm too barbecued. It's like, I'm just going to fucking put something else on. I can't do it. Please.
Not this time. One of my friends, I don't know what film it is, but one of my friends the other day, I'm going to have to find out the film and tell you, but basically the film is really weird, and there's an end credit scene about 15 minutes into it. And And then it starts again. He got so high. He knew this film was 3 hours long. Got so high, watched it for 15 minutes. The end credits rolled. Was like, fuck, that was a good film. Paused it. And then only the next day realised there was a whole other 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Wait, I'm gonna text him now just in case we get that. If he comes back to me, wait, let me.
Oh my god, I love that.
I laughed so hard.
That's my favorite kind of shit. Oh well, that derailed our fast questions, but that's still fucking hilarious.
Sorry.
No, because I went with it. I ran. Oh, wow. That's so good.
I've asked him.
Text, call, or FaceTime?
Text. All the time. Yeah. Like, don't call me.
I feel like such a dick because I have good friends that I'll send them a text and they call me and I'll just not answer. I'm just like,
I'll do that to my parents. I would literally do that to my parents. Like, don't. No.
And my least favorite is like I'm in public and I'll text my brother and he'll FaceTime me. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, no.
So
I text you.
Or it's the worst when someone FaceTime you and you're a little bit high and you've just got red eyes and they don't know you get high, or like your parents or something.
Oh yeah.
It's like, hi.
You got allergies? Yeah.
It was like Christmas Day because obviously over here I spent Christmas Day at home with Kelly, my girlfriend.
Yeah.
So we zoomed the parents.
Uh-huh.
I was a little red-eyed at that point in time.
Yeah.
But your answer is text.
I had an instance where I spent Christmas and New Year's alone at the studio because I got exposed through a client to COVID.
Shit.
Ended up I was fine and got tested, never got sick. But then a couple days after I was cleared, my sister-in-law, who we've been living with at the time, she works in healthcare. She got COVID, and I was out of the house when we like found out, and I was like,
I never came back.
Yeah, I'm like, I gotta work. Like I can't not work.
Yeah, like you can't. Yeah,
you guys are shit out of luck. But
you're on your own.
Yeah. So it was like, I'm at the studio or whatever, and then my brother would call me, like FaceTime me, and I'm like, it's like, are you just completely stoned to the bone right now? I'm like, no. Yeah. You just can't hide it, especially when it's that view. You're like,
the light's there. It's
laying in bed. Hilarious. If you weren't in music or photography, I'll couch that now. What would you be doing?
Shit.
It's a tough one, I know.
I really don't like that.
Those are the two.
I'm going to think hard on this. It's going to be something to do with computers or like something techie. I love technology.
Yeah.
Maybe like, I don't know, maybe like working on games or something like that. I think I quite enjoy games. So skills wise, I've got nothing, but I'd love to like work on like games testing or game development. That'd be sick.
Yeah,
that'd be really good.
Do. I mean, scoring for games. I mean, that's still in music, but you could. I've been writing a few that can warrant a good game spot. So nice.
Yeah,
that'd be fun. Favorite meal?
Ooh, are we talking breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or are we talking dish? Favorite dish?
Dish. Or both.
So favorite time of day to eat is, I love lunch.
Lunch is the best.
Lunch is great. And lunch at Blackbird was supreme. Yeah. Always great.
Yeah. Breakfast is overrated. Breakfast can suck all the days.
Yeah. I feel like having lunch for breakfast is more enjoyable. Like having something you would have for lunch for breakfast is amazing. We went to Thailand and I had fried rice for breakfast nearly every day, and then continued that when I got home for about a month.
Yeah. I enjoy breakfast foods for dinner. I think that can.
Why not?
Nice. Yeah.
Why not? Dish wise, I'm a big fan of a curry. I do like a good curry.
Yeah. Super spicy? You spicy guy?
No, do you know I like spice.
Yeah.
I like a really good spicy ramen, but when it comes to a curry, I like something creamy.
Oh, okay.
Not too hot, can have a tang, but creaminess is
key. Dream car.
Oh, it was always Lamborghini Diablo.
Okay.
From like when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I mean, if we're going to upgrade,
yeah,
we're going to go like Aventador or.
I don't know that one.
It's let me show you. It's a Lamborghini. It's still a Lamborghini.
Oh, okay.
I can't even spell Lamborghini.
Don't even ask me.
It's got an O apparently. This guy.
Ooh.
See that?
Yeah.
Or there's a one called the Veneno. This guy.
Ooh.
But that is $4.5 million, and you get invited to buy it. You can't just buy one. They have to ask you first.
Really?
Yeah, they have to come to you and be like,
on a list or anything? It's just like...
I mean, you could maybe put your hat in the ring, but I think you have to own at least 2 other Lamborghinis.
Okay, that makes
sense.
Like
currently.
Okay.
And then, yeah, they're just like, do you fancy spending $4.5 million on a car? Yes, I do.
Yeah, sure. I was just envisioning like Lamborghini having this running toll of people that hit a certain like number in their bank account.
Number of followers on Instagram. You can you can buy this car if you have 1 million followers on Instagram.
Insane. Well, that's it for my rapid fire questions. Since I'm sort of calling this one more for safety, which if you've been in the recording studio, you've heard that a million times. This is sort of my last question. If you had a consequence-free time machine, where
no butterfly effect.
Yeah, this is just clean in and out, just to make this question easier. No Chris Nolan shit. If you had a consequence-free time machine, what era of your life would you go back to, and what would you tell your younger self?
I'd go back to school. For real, like secondary school, senior school, so between 11 and 16.
Okay.
Age-wise. Maybe when I was 14, 15 years old, I'd go back and probably make myself aware of the different avenues that there are in music. That's one thing I would probably do.
Yeah.
And say, because back then I was like, oh, I don't need to learn to read music because only orchestras do that.
Right.
And I'm never going to be in an orchestra. But then it's like, well, you might want to score a piece for an orchestra. Want to write
for an orchestra, sure.
So like, yeah, I would have told myself that there's a lot of different parts. Not to give up the band one, because I mean, didn't turn out too badly.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more
sure
possibility in music than the teachers who told me I'd need a backup option kind of made sense.
I'm sorry. I had a flashback of the principal of my old school when you said that. I remember when I moved to Nashville, I was originally I was going to go to the Blackbird Academy, which thank Christ I didn't. Sorry, Blackbird. But but I had to get my transfers from my high school, which I don't know why the fuck they even cared. That's like a formality at that point because they just need the money. But I remember being in the like office of my old high school, and the principal of the school, who I'd known since I was in 6th grade, I graduated from his school, and he was a musician in like the 60s and like still played. And I remember him going, what are you doing here? And I told him, and I was like, yeah, I'm moving to Nashville in a couple months, and I'm gonna do the whatever. And he's like, good luck. And then he just left.
It's just like, well, it's like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean, good luck?
That face, man?
like, am I fucked?
Yeah.
Do you think I'm not good enough, or what?
Well, yeah. Things turned out okay, but
I think like what we weren't told back then was try and be in a band. The fallback is all the other stuff that comes with it. Like,
right.
My entire career is fallback from being in a band, tour managing, guitar teching, photography, like all that stuff I learned on tour being in a band. So it's like you'll find
if you work hard and you work it, like the skills that you need to make a band work and the work ethic that you have to develop is you should be okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Like you're gonna learn life skills. Like I can tour manage a tour in America for 2 months.
Yeah.
Because I learned how to do it from my old tour manager who tour managed me.
Yeah.
Because I was interested in his job, and I basically learned on the job. And it's like I wouldn't have been able to do that without being in a band. I wouldn't.
No.
If Ben had, I mean, that was technically that was my first ever tour I tour managed. Was straight to America for 2 months.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been able to do that if I hadn't been in a band. Like,
oh no way.
Not a chance. So, fuck it.
Yeah.
Anyone watching, just start a band.
Just
start
fuck
a band. You'll be poor. You'll be an anxious wreck, but you might find a job.
The most roundabout way to find a job I've ever heard. That's what I did too. Well, man,
you'll be poor, an anxious wreck, and then a pandemic will come and strip every element that you've built up all that time.
And then you got to start over again. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
It's fucking great.
What a great job. Dream job.
I love it. This was fucking great, man. I'm so glad you were open to doing this, and I'm just glad I got to talk to you again. I miss you. I hope very soon you're able to come back.
Yes.
I was hoping right before the pandemic. I was actually about to fly to London.
Oh man, that'd been so sick.
And I would have scheduled time because I was at the time trying to like further ingratiate myself and show my willingness to be a great music partner for the You Me at 6 stuff. Where I was gonna just tell them like, hey,
just come over.
I'm gonna come over and we'll do the final revisions on all the mixes together instead of doing it back and forth. And I was like 2 weeks away from like, and then lockdown, and then you guys for sure cut everybody off. So I was like, for fuck's sakes.
No, that would have been so sick if you were over here, man. Well, soon, it's gonna happen soon. You'll be over soon.
I hope so, or hopefully you'll be back and playing shows or tour managing or something. But
that's it. I'm due to come back. I think we were supposed to do it again end of last year, so end of this year, end of next year, who knows? It'll happen again.
All right, man.
Thanks for asking me, dude. Honestly, I appreciate you.
Oh, of course.
You considering me to be worthy.
No, man.
Of your cause.
You're the second person I've talked to. This is like.
Who's the first? Were they any good? Were they any good?
Do you know Danny? I don't think you've met Danny.
Dan from Yumi.
No, Danny Pellegrini. He's
Oh no.
He was the me after me for Jakir.
Oh, nice. Sick.
So
awesome.
He was an intern. Actually, his first gig interning with Jakir was on the You Me at 6 record that we did.
Nice.
And
nice.
It was sort of the inaugural, like, let's work the bugs out with a buddy that knows the shit and it's got all this, so it was the perfect sort of first
handover.
Yeah. So technically you're like the real, like, first. So.
Well, it's a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to see your face and speak to you, man.
You as well. Well, if you got anything to plug, Instagram, Facebook, whatever you want.
Instagram, Eliza And The Bear. Twitter, Eliza And The Bear. Facebook, Eliza And The Bear. We will be back. We've got stuff coming, but just when the world is a little more normal. So possibly summer 21, we'll have some shows and some new music.
And your photography? Instagram?
Photography. Instagram is James Kellegher Visuals. And the same on Facebook and Twitter. And yeah.
Awesome.
Big up.
Appreciate
Thanks
it, man.
for having me, man.
Yeah. I'll talk to you soon.
Love you, bro. Speak to you soon.
See you, buddy.
Bye-bye.